Hello and welcome along to part 37 or 38. We are going to continue in the Royal Wood and from there go back to the Sanctuary Garden where Elizabeth is, the mushroom, and then take on the Artorias and then make our way to the township, the Lucille township. So we'll take out these scarecrows. Love the atmosphere here, it's very menacing, very foreboding, quite unnerving as well actually. I guess some of these words mean the same thing. Anyway, there's a crystal lizard over here, so make sure you get him. Or it, or whatever it is. Nope. So I missed, but yeah, I'll come back to get it. I don't really need twinkling titanite or any kind of upgrade materials just now. So we've got more of these giant stone knights. Oh no, these are stone guardians, sorry. The giant stone knights are the ones from Darkroot Basin, Darkroot Garden. These ones are definitely faster though, these guys are definitely swifter in their attacks. And FromSoft made them more difficult to attack as well, I think. Because yeah, they react a bit quicker. And also you can't get too close to them because you can trigger, if you're in close vicinity to them after they do this, you can trigger that attack, which is the AoE attack. I thought he was going to walk off the edge there, I've never seen that happen, but... And in the previous episode we picked up a few pieces of the Stone Guardian's armour set. It's very heavy. It's not one I would use, but I think all the kind of... I might be wrong about this, so correct me if I'm wrong, but all the bosses, I know this is a fact, that all the bosses in the DLC area have high resistances to elemental damage. So I'm wondering if maybe all the kind of armour sets you pick up in the DLC area have similar high resistances or defences against elemental damage. Maybe they don't, but anyway, there's a couple of wee items to pick up here. This is actually, you'll recognise this building here, or this kind of concrete structure or brick structure, is where we talk to Alvina. And there's a bridge across here in the normal time period that you cross to meet the mushroom people. But yeah, in there is where Alvina rests. And anyway, there's an item to pick up down here. And these are the guys I was talking about before that don't aggro until you pick a specific item up. And the item's a gold coin. I've changed over to the Great Scythe. So this is a gold coin. Not much you can do with this apart from feed it to Framt. And the reason I'm kind of moving the camera around is because I'm just getting a look at the area that we'll eventually go to, because that's the Lucille township over there. And as soon as you pick that up, they aggro. These guys have a different weapon. They're what do you call them? Shears. They've got a different name as well. Their weapon does bleed damage. And I am not performing very well there. I love that rapid attack. I think you can actually get their weapon. Is it Rapitours or Racontours or something? Not Racontour. Yeah, there's another word that they're used to describe those implements that these gardeners use to trim the bushes and the hedges. I don't know what these are. I think they're like shriveled up trees that have been affected by the dark, or bushes or something. Anyway, I'll go back to the trusty Black Knight Halberd. And I need my Havel's ring. I'll need to pump some more souls into... Is it? I think I can't even remember at this point. It's endurance, because I'm thinking of Dark Souls 2 and all the stats and whatnot. Is it endurance that affects equipment load or equipment burden in this. Can't remember. Anyway, this is a good shortcut for a later part of the DLC area. But we'll trigger that elevator in a later episode. So there's an item to pick up here. It's a soul item, and we'll go and speak to Marvellous Chester, and he's just to the left of where we picked that soul item up. Just cross the bridge. You can hear that there's some enemies below.
Let me guess. Snatched by a shadowy limb and dragged off to the past?
Yep, and it was Manus.
Yes, of course. Exactly what happened to me. We are both strangers in this strange land. But at least now there are two of us.
So does he have the other half of the pendant?
Knight Artorias, the legendary abyss walker from the old tales. Well, if you haven't, it's just as well. He's a colourless sort, if you ask me.
Very interesting character, Marvellous Chester. He sells green blossoms, and he actually charges more for his items than other vendors do in Dark Souls. Some people have suggested that Marvellous Chester maybe had the other half of the broken pendant, the one that we got from the Blue Golem in the Duke's archives, and that was the reason why both of us, our character and him, have been pulled back into the past, because Manus wants to put the pendant together. Other people contend that he's stuck here, because he can invade as a dark spirit.
What did that giant mushroom make you do? Not that I care. It's none of my business. I've little to talk about, really. Oh, you know me. What do I know?
So his comments are very sly and disingenuous.
So long.
I love his so long, that's great. Anyway, yeah, so some people have suggested that he invades people or invades other to get humanity, but that doesn't really make sense. It doesn't necessarily not make sense, because he has humanity to sell in his inventory, and I guess if he truly needed it to maybe leave here, maybe to kindle bonfires or something, he wouldn't sell it, but I don't know. He's an interesting character nonetheless. And he seems to know what's going on, or he seems to have a clue about what's going on around here. Oh, he also knows about Framt or Calf. There's an interesting NPC over there. We'll go and talk to him later. And that's where we'll fight Artorias in that Colosseum-looking building. So to get back to the bonfire next to Elizabeth, the mushroom, you just follow this path all the way down. The blue titanite slab is along that way. I'm not going to pick it up. Don't need it. We'll go and talk to Elizabeth, and this is where you get the idea that she may be using chameleon.
If there's anything I can do.
Chameleon to...
Thou art from a time far, far ahead. There are many things I wish to ask, but I know that I must not. The perils of our time are overwhelming enough. Was thine eye glancing hither? Thou needst not hide thy wonder. I am a mushroom, after all.
I don't know, some people have interpreted that cheeky laugh in her comment to be to suggest that maybe she's using chameleon to disguise her identity as a mushroom. I don't know, maybe that's not the case. So we'll go and fight Knight Artorias. You just go back up to the elevator, just stick to the wall, come in here, and is there anything special you need to do? You could use a high stability shield, I suppose, if you want to block Knight Artorias' attacks. Really, it's better to dodge them. A fast weapon is good. You don't want something really slow like the Zweihander. green blossoms would help as well. So you can see I actually died. I actually died twice to him. It was just stupid mistakes. Not dodging in time. And I didn't want to show you them because, yeah, I can explain how to avoid those same mistakes. Roll back the way for this attack. I know you got me there, but roll back the way. So you want to basically keep at a middle distance from... You roll to the left or right for that attack. You want to keep it a middle distance, I would say, from him. Either middle or far. I wouldn't... You can roll to the left or right of that attack as well. And maybe that's actually a better strategy, as it allows you to get the hit in from behind him. You want to stagger him here, so get up and get your hits in as quickly as possible. We knocked him out of his power up. Because when he powers up, he does a lot more damage and he becomes more aggressive. One thing I will say is I wouldn't like to fight Artorias if he had both arms, if one arm wasn't incapacitated. If you look at his left arm, it's disabled basically, you can't use it. And yeah, roll back, there you go. I just love everything about this fight. It's one of the best fights in the game. I prefer this fight to the Ornstein and Smough or Smough fight. So again, roll to left or right. And sometimes you can actually have a follow-up kind of attack to that one. So you have to kind of use your own judgment about whether you're going to... It can instantly go into another roll and then basically hit you another couple of times. I wanted to use power within at this point. I thought he's going for his power up. I've got him down to half health. I'll be able to, you know, with a few hits I'll probably be able to take him out if I'm using power within. But you can see he's become much more aggressive. That's the follow-up attack I'm talking about from the one where he rolls through the air. And that's the one that actually killed me twice. Yep, back the way again. Trade hits with him almost. Yeah, trade hits with him here. But he's down to 0 health. And he's a dead knight at this point. And that scream at the end, I believe that's either it's either influenced by Mumra of Thundercats, or it was taken from Mumra of Thundercats. And Thundercats was brilliant if you were born in the 80s and you remember Thundercats. Brilliant cartoon. Anyway, we'll come back here at a later date. A later date? That sounded very formal. We'll come back here in the future to meet an NPC who grieves over the death of Artorias, but we've actually done Artorias a favour. This is a gazebo of a Battle of Stoicism gazebo. This is a multiplayer area, so you can instigate PvP fights here. Never used it myself. I haven't really not much interest in multiplayer aspect of any game. I guess that's just that comes from being brought up in the 80s, where all games were single player. Anyway, there was a warning there about humanity, and that's just people warning you that if you kindle the bonfire and reverse your hollowing at that bonfire, you're likely to be invaded because this is a PvP hotspot. And anyway, we'll talk about that later. There's an interesting NPC into the building on the right. We can't actually go and visit him just now because we need a key called the crest key. Don't jump off of there, that's some troll. And we don't have that key yet. But look at that statue. See, if you look at that statue, it's holding there's a twig. That's actually the Ulusil Ivory Catalyst that you can buy from Dusk and Elizabeth. There's also a soul item around here. And it's the soul of a hero, so it's 10,000 souls. So it's definitely worth coming up here to pick that up. So we'll go make our way through the township. And these are bloatheads. These are ex-residents of the Ulusil township who have been driven insane by the spread of the abyss. Not much to say about them. Not particularly difficult. You should be more or less one-shotting them at this stage. You want to pull them here. You'll pull 2 at a time. They can do quite a lot of stamina damage with their fists. They use their fist to attack you. There's another version of them called the Frenzied Bloatheads. We'll encounter them later. That was a good dodge. And you can actually pick up. It's not their. That's not. I don't think that's their head. I think it's like a mask that goes over their head, because you can use it as a headpiece. I don't think it confers any special status on your character. Not something I would use. Very ugly. I love the way they laugh at you and mock you. Same with another enemy that we'll encounter in just a moment. These are the bloathead sorcerers, and they laugh at you as well. Sometimes at the most opportune moments, when you've made a mistake, or I don't know if that's deliberate or just chance. And I've changed to the crest shield here, just because the crest shield gives you protection against magic damage, and these guys use dark magic, and I find it very difficult to roll under that. I always get freaked out by their hands, just the way their hands are over enlarged. There's a bloathead hiding around the corner here. Yeah, I find it difficult to roll under that attack. And if you're in human form here, you'll be invaded by Dark Spirit Marvellous Chester, and he's a bit of a pain in the bum to fight. He's not difficult, he's got a kick animation attack that's unblockable, I think, or it breaks your guard every time. It's something strange about it, I remember. It's been a while since I've fought him. You can either fall down to the left here and do a plunging attack, but I would just recommend going down the stairs because it can be risky. You can fall off the edge of the platform. And because I've been playing Dark Souls 2, I mentioned this in previous episodes, I don't know, I'm finding it hard to get used to the jump mechanic, going from Dark Souls 2 to this. And it actually caused it was so infuriating when I was creating this video. This crystal lizard, you have to jump to get to it, and I swear I think I died 3 times, which is obviously just totally stupid and unnecessary. Put on the Sunlight Maggot here to open the illusory wall, and you'll pick up one of the best defensive items in the game, especially for fighting a particular boss. You need this item to fight, you don't need it, but it's very helpful to fight Manus of the Abyss. One of the ancient treasures of Anor Londo, presented to Artorias for facing the Abyss, effectively deflects dark magic. And the interesting thing is, the timeline for Artorias is quite not complex, but there's a few wee components to it. This is the Crown of Dusk, just explaining how it increases your magic damage and whatnot. But I believe when we fight Artorias, it's not the Artorias that people speak with in reverential tones. It's a different Artorias. It's Artorias that's been corrupted by the Abyss, and his personality's gone. He's became basically like an empty vessel. I just want to show you how well the crest shield blocks their magic attack. It takes loads of stamina damage off. That's the problem with these guys. Get the Ulusil Catalyst there, which is, I'm not sure, certain aspects of it are stronger than the Ivory Catalyst, the Ulusil Ivory Catalyst. I make a mess of this. It's the stagger animation that annoys me with, and the fact that it takes so much stamina off you. It doesn't annoy me, it's just you have to, I suppose, account for it. But I don't account for it very well here, and kind of get my ass handed to me by these sorcerers. And that's a bit better. The dark, they fire at you. Dark fog, dark bead, and dark orb, I think it is. And these dark sorceries are really powerful. There you go. There's dark orb, and I believe a lot of PvP players use these spells to basically destroy other players. We picked up a wood carving there. That wood carving is made by one of the NPCs in this area. And if you throw it on the ground, it cracks open and says "I'm sorry," or can't remember. There's other ones as well. Anyway, we're finishing this wee area. I'm about to fall to my death trying to get to that crystal, or where that crystal lizard was. There's what the dark pendant does. Deflects dark damage. Very useful. I don't know why I keep doing that, rolling instead of jumping. It's really annoying. See if you've not been upgrading your yeah, laughing at me because I managed to get the jump this time, but oh, that was so annoying. I died, yeah, about 3 times. You can see I've got 1 humanity now because I lost the rest of it. Big mistake, big mistake. So that was my fault. Because I died so many times, I was being inattentive and being impatient at this point, and I totally forgot that this was a mimic. Totally my fault. I think you could get a better... oh yeah. You put on the hawk ring here, and take this sorcerer out before you try and cross the small footpath. If you don't, it can be very easy to be knocked off that footpath, and it's very, very annoying. So yeah, the hawk ring maintains your damage over distance. So yeah, definitely that's one strategy to do that. And I wouldn't recommend trying to cross there without taking the sorcerer out unless you enjoy a good challenge. So once we cross here, we're going to encounter the new type of bloathead, and that's the frenzied one. And these guys, you can differentiate them because these guys have got red eyes, and they have the same amount of health points, but they do a lot more damage. I think they're more aggressive. The AI Pathin's more aggressive as well. Just as ugly as the other ones though. In fact, they're even more unnerving looking. I think I was just wanting to change a weapon here. I think I was bored using the Black Knight halberd. This is one that I like this building. It's really interesting. Chock full of enemies, and you want to use your bow here definitely to pull some enemies. You don't want to rush down there, and yeah, you're unlikely to survive if you rush down there. There's just so many of them. And there's also, see, there's a body hanging with an item on it at the top of the screen. There's a bloathead sorcerer above it. And just leave that. Don't try and snipe that bloathead sorcerer. Just wait until you take him out later. You can snipe him if you want, but sometimes it causes them to come down, and then you've got 2 sorcerers to fight at the same time. So I would recommend just leaving it until later on. And there's a bloathead sorcerer to our left beneath us, and there's also, I think, 2 bloatheads as well, or 1. 2 of them, I think. One of them, sorry. And he cast dark fog or whatever, which didn't work very well. which, you know, was good for me because it would have been more difficult if he'd used Dark Orb or something. So I forgot to mention that in the previous episode I talked about the comparisons with the map in where we're used to for our normal Dark Souls playthrough. And if you go back to the previous video, I've included a link. I'll probably include the link in this video as well. Come out here and pick up the soul item. It's Soul of Hero, so another 10,000 souls. Jesus, I must have been really bored because I change weapons quite frequently here. Anyway, I'd killed all the other guys. I didn't need to show you me doing that. You get the point. Yeah, I'll probably include the link for it's a picture that somebody had uploaded to a website, maybe NeoGAF or Reddit, I'm not sure, or GameFAQs or something, and it just shows you the Ulasil map overlaid on top of the Dark Souls map, and you can see all the different areas intersect with where we are just now and what we're used to in normal Dark Souls. And I mentioned in the previous video about my Glaswegian accent. Can you guys tell me if I'm difficult to understand? Could you let me know so that I can like slow down? You know, I can pace myself in terms of the way I speak. I think they call that cadence or whatever. But yeah, anyway, I can slow down my cadence. Or adjust it so that it's easier to comprehend, because I definitely know the Glaswegian accent is difficult to understand because I've been in America a few times, and I always assume when I make videos for YouTube or when I'm making these videos that most people are from America when they watch these. Maybe they're not, maybe you guys are from the UK or Europe or whatever. But when I've been in America in the past, I've been mistaken for being Russian, German, Hungarian, everything apart from being from Britain. Yeah, so... But the Glaswegian accent, I think, is sometimes quite difficult to understand, especially if it's spoken at speed, and this is the kind of normal speed I would speak at if I was speaking to another Glaswegian. Or maybe that's a wee bit exaggerated, but it wouldn't be far off that. Anyway, I actually forget to pick up an important item here. I should have picked up to the right, there's a chest just next to the fire. I also forgot there was an enemy here. But in the chest there's an important item, that's the crest key, and that's the key that opens up the door to take you to Hawkeye Goth. So don't forget to pick that up. And down those ladders is where you go to take on the Bloathead Sorcerer. Yeah. And to chop the rope off to get the item as well. There's a humanity here, or twin humanities. And you just have to drop down again, unfortunately, and then go back up the ladders again. Not a ladder, sorry, up the stairs. But what had actually happened, I don't know why, but for some reason this guy came down. So this is the sorcerer from above. And he was the one that must have, like, you know, severed the rope in half. Because I didn't do it again, I can't roll under that, which is really annoying. But yeah, he must have severed the rope, or cut the rope in half with his dark magic, because I didn't do it. Anyway, I thought I would just show you guys how to get there, just in case you're watching this and you're not sure. Don't go to the left there, that's a trick. That just basically, you have to go all the way up again and round, it's really annoying. Another thing to note about these sorcerers, if you haven't been putting points, so this is where you chop the rope, but if you haven't been putting points into strength and dexterity and you're not got massive damage output, you can stagger these sorcerers with fire weapons, I believe. But at this point you should be one-shotting these guys because you only have like 300 health or something. To the left is a way to progress through this level, but we're not going to do that in this episode. We're going to go back to the bonfire. This takes you back to the Ulasil Township bonfire, the one next to the place where we fought Artorias. So this is where the 4 bloatheads are. It's a good wee shortcut. And I hope this episode's been helpful for you guys. See you in the next one.